Arsenal are close to appointing Matteo Tognozzi, former Juventus and Bayer Leverkusen scout, who'll be working closely with Andrea Berta. He's a man who's been credited with identifying the likes of Dean Howson, who of course Arsenal were linked with earlier this summer. Kenan Yildiz is another one he's been credited with sort of picking out. So firstly, how good an appointment is this for the Gunners?
Well, from my, and I don't know too much about him, but I've been speaking to people over at Juventus about him. People who I have an awful lot of respect for in terms of their knowledge of the situation, and I have not heard anything bad about this appointment. Again, it's still not actually, fully signed and done yet, but it looks like he will be coming in and joining the recruitment team. And yeah, every person I've spoken to about him says great things. Says his eye for a player is, you know, unrivaled almost over there. There's a lot of disappointment at Juventus that they haven't. They lost him in the first place, but B, they haven't been able to bring him back. There's a lot of disappointment over there because there was talk that he could well be the new sporting director there, but it appears that Arsenal are getting him in as part of Berta's team. So it's exciting. I have to say, I hadn't really heard of him. I have to admit, I put my hands up before this sort of emerged, and suddenly he was on his way to Arsenal. But from learning in the brief time since then about him and the work he's done and the players he's sort of brought in, I think he appears to be a really exciting appointment. He really goes for younger players. You talked about them, Yildiz, but Howson as well. Those sort of players who have come in at Juventus and been a success, and ultimately ended up a lot of them sort of moving on, which was, I think, is a bit of a sore point at Juventus as well, that they weren't utilised more. So yeah, I think it's a good appointment. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Berta does with the recruitment team, just how many appointments he makes. We've been waiting for this. Obviously, Jason Ito's gone, so he's in a position now where he needs to sort of add at least one, but I think he'll add more over the maybe the next year as well. Edu came in and really streamlined the recruitment network at Arsenal and did it well. The proof's in the pudding, and Arsenal's recruitment has been largely good under Edu, but I'm interested to see if Berta comes in and just puts more boots on the ground a little bit, goes a little bit more old school than Edu did, who was very analytical. Everyone's small team based around him. I'd be interested if he puts more scouts on the ground, and I think this is a really exciting appointment.
Yeah, I think exciting is the word, especially because we've spoken a few weeks ago about Arsenal and their sort of youth recruitment. It could be improved. Of course,
Yeah.
they were linked with Howson. He's gone to Real Madrid. Severe Naipam is another one who they were reportedly looking at. It looks like he might now go to Aston Villa. So how hopeful are you that this appointment of Tognozzi will really push Arsenal's young recruitment drive to that next level?
Yeah, it is hopeful. Just judging on previous experience of what he's done, it seems like that is the sort of player in the age range that he goes for. And the fact that Arsenal are making this appointment suggests that they want to go down that route as well, which is an important route to go down because it has maybe been an area where they've needed to improve a little bit of late. Under Arsene Wenger, they were fantastic at that sort of signing, but it is stopped really of late. So it'd be great to see them sort of go back to that route, not focus on it purely. Maybe, Wenger maybe focus on it too much, but certainly go back to getting some of those sort of players in. And if you can you can go and unearth a Dean Howson, for example, once every couple of years, then, it's a fantastic position you put your club in if you can do that. So yeah, no, it's an exciting one.
Definitely so, yeah. And of course, not just for the players who might come in, but the players who are already at the club. Of course, we've spoken so much about the contract situations that Berta's got to deal with. Of course, Gabriel's now signed. That's fantastic news, but there's still about maybe six or seven whose situations need sorting out. And for them as well to see that, decisive action is being taken, like you said, so soon after Jason Ito left the club and Berta's building up these relationships, building up his team, it seems. They're seeing stability, not uncertainty at the top level. So how crucial is that as well for the players who are in these contract talks to see, how the upstairs recruitment is panning out and how they are seeing this team sort of emerge together?
Yeah, I think it's crucial because you want to see that the club's kind of stable, don't you? And there was a bit of a, don't know if power vacuum is the right word, but when Edu left, I think that caught everyone pretty much by surprise. And then you wonder, how are things going to go? Are things going to start to drift? And you don't want that as a top level club because it just breeds uncertainty. And the fact that Arsenal sort of brought Berta in, they got it done before the window, I think was good. Now he's making his own moves and bringing his own team in. I think everything I've heard about Andrea Berta so far, I have to say, from behind the scenes, has been really, really positive in terms of what he's doing at Arsenal, in terms of the contract talks he's doing. Again, from people I've spoken to close to those talks, I keep hearing positive things about the way the sort of firm grasp he's taken on those talks. The way he got Gabriel over the line, I think was really, really impressive. Hopefully that creates a snowball effect as well, and it begins to ripple down to the other players who are in contract talks. So yeah, I'm hearing good things about him and what he's doing behind the scenes, and that can only be a positive because, like you said, it's got to be, if you're a top club and you want to operate in the best possible way, you've got to be stable. There can't be uncertainty, and I think there was a little bit of uncertainty for a time at Arsenal, but it's beginning to feel now that it is stable again and that he's really got a firm grasp on how things are going.